Hello and welcome to the Backyard Media. Today we have an amazing, very special guest. Special guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Camille Asia. I'm a poet, writer, and community organizer living in Northampton, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Tell them a little bit about your craft. How did you get into it, and why is it so important to you?
I think poetry saves lives. My favorite poet, Aja Monet, says that, like poetry is not food and it's not a shield, it's not shelter. But beloved June Jordan said that like poetry is an intervention. It can stop someone from like taking their own lives. It can stop someone from believing that they're worthless. And I read poems and I felt like I deserved to exist in a world that I thought maybe didn't want me or like I didn't belong in. So poetry has always been a home for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also add that I love poetry because of sound. I love sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that about myself. And I used to sit in the living room with my parents and my grandparents and just like my whole family and listen to them talk about St. Vincent, which is where my family's from. And it's like a place I've never been, but how they described it, how they emoted, like how they like built this connection and like grounded me in a place that I've never like lived in like full time before, was really profound to me. So storytelling, poetry is prayer, poetry is homemaking and belonging. Just, yeah, in my heart.
Storytelling, it's so important to just conveying the human experience and being able to show empathy, really. Just to, I mean, I'm sure you know that, I don't need to tell you that,
tell me James.
But yeah, no, it's something that's super important to me, and there's so many stories that I've heard that have changed my life. What's the story that you've heard that has really resonated with you, that you've kind of carried out through your life?
What kind of story? Like what kind of story are you like asking me about?
I guess just something that it could be any kind of story, something that is close to your heart, something that just resonates with you, something that pushed you to either improve yourself or try something new, or what was that?
So I think about two specific people, Audre Lorde and Maya Angelou. And I often think about Audre Lorde, like she says, like it's better to speak because we all die. So you might as well say what's on your heart and on your spirit. And she's like this, beloved Black feminist, like Black lesbian warrior poet. And I learned that she chose not to speak for like most of her life. She was just like kind of moving through, not saying anything, but like reading constantly. And her family is from Grenada, which is like neighboring St. Vincent. We both of the countries have these grenadines that we share. And so I just feel like I found myself in her story. Like she was in New York. I think she was in Harlem. She had immigrant parents. She was going to school there and she wasn't speaking. And when I was in private school, I'm going to whisper it. When I was in private school, I didn't speak much. Like I was afraid to speak. I was afraid of my voice. And to like add to it, Maya Angelou talks about how she also didn't speak for much of her life, which is so wild that these people heavily influence like all of us, and have been championing for us, to live better lives. But she essentially was like harmed as a child. I'm gonna get into the details of that. But when they asked who did it, she spoke the man's name and they killed him. And so she learned like the double-edged sword of like how powerful her voice is. If she spoke, it could kill somebody. So she thought every time she said a word, it would kill someone or like harm someone. But hearing those stories about people who also weren't speaking, weren't saying anything, but like came around and uplifted so many of us, like, I mean, you find Maya Angelou's poetry everywhere. People can still recite her poems, but to think this person thought, I can't speak and I won't share, it just made me think more about like the power of my voice, power of my tongue, and what it means to come from these lineages, like Black folks who have navigated so much, who weren't allowed to speak, who weren't allowed to share, and to then come around and realize, well, I can actually do something with the word. Like, I've always thought of the word as something that is like, it can harm or it can heal. And to know that like there are people who are thinking, I know that this has been used to chop us down, and I want to find a way to alchemize that and use the word to like grow something or allow people to rise up in themselves, has made me see language and the word just like so differently. So their stories have really sat with me. Yeah.
Would you say that those stories helped you to reclaim your voice or find that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I study a lot of like Black feminist poets, lesbian poets as well. Even just people who believe in Black feminists, or like that's like it's what their practice is rooted in. And I think all of us are just like remembering what it means for us to be here and to be alive and to be well. And so, yeah, they have heavily impacted how I show up in the world, what I do, and why I continue to like keep going despite, yeah.
And that's powerful. I think that just goes to show how your strength, in spite of all the craziness happening in the world right now. Another one of your inspirations, Aja Monet.
Yes.
Aja Monet, didn't that inspire what you have going on right now with Not a No Place?
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about Not a No Place? Describe what the mission of that is and what it is exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So Aja Monet, incredible like blues surrealist poet. She has found this beautiful place where like poetry and activism meet. And I created Not a No Place inspired by Lucille Clifton's poem, What the Mirror Said. And in it, she says like, listen, you a wonder, you a city of a woman. And she continues and she's like, you not know no place, girl, anonymous. Like, someone needs a map to get around you, and like you have a geography of your own. And she finished it and she's like, mister, with his hands on you, he got his hands on some damn body. Like, she's just it's always a celebration of life with her. And like I said, like Black queer being growing up in private school, it's like annoying to bring it back to this place, but that's where it is. I just felt like I didn't belong. And simultaneously, I'm from this island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where when I was a child, I'd look on maps and it was left off of like globes, like whole globes mapping all these countries, but you left mine off.
Wow.
That's an absurd choice. Like, it's been around for a long time, so I don't know how, but this feeling of being forgotten and like left out or erased. When we changed presidents in January of 2025, there was just so much grief. And I think we were all just like bearing witness to, they're going to continue to try to do what they have done, which is erase us. They're trying to like push us from our place, but we're staying rooted. And so I decided to create Not a No Place so that we could build a foundation, root ourselves, most importantly within ourselves, because it's a traveling open mic. And what I wanted most was just to make sure that people knew that like if you're at home in yourself, you can be at home anywhere. And they can't push you out, they can't erase you, they can't get rid of you. And this is my way of writing all of us in, writing myself in, writing you in, like all of the people. So that's Not a No Place. That's how it came to be. And it's a QT by POC open mic series. It's monthly. We have a feature, and then we breathe, which is so essential to me. We ground and we bear witness, most importantly, because we don't necessarily live on in the textbooks or whatever. We live on in other people. And so it was essential for me to be like, if you're going to be here in this space, you don't have to contribute anything other than like acknowledge that I was here and that you are here as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate your work from the few times that I've been myself. I feel like I've picked up a lot of wisdom and such valuable insight that has been helpful in kind of coming to peace, you know, and with myself and with the events happening around the world. What have people told you about Not a No Place? What has it done for them?
Oh, put a smile on my face. Because it's, you know, I feel like it's when people, I heard somewhere that like, you don't like announce that you're a shaman, right? People tell you that, you know, like you don't announce that you're this thing of anything. Like people tell you what you are, lovingly, of course, you know. But I was like, Not a No Place is so beautiful. I don't really know, but to hear my community say like, you know, we need more spaces like this. You know, people feel like similarly more at peace. I think especially because of the breath work that we do with the breath awareness. People have felt like they could cry on stage, like people could share parts of their hearts that they just like didn't feel comfortable sharing before. They could be more vulnerable and like invite more parts of themselves. And I don't know, there's just like a lot of joy, you know, there's just a lot of joy and there's a lot of gratitude and appreciation. And I think sometimes it's just like, whatever, like people do this all the time, who cares, you know. But to hear my community say like, no, this is different, there's like an essence that they can feel. There's a wholeness. I think people feel and leave feeling a bit more whole and a bit more connected to themselves, and that was the whole point. And I've meditated on it for a while, and I always ask myself like, how do I want people to leave from this space? And it's always been like feeling more loved, feeling more whole and more connected to themselves. Yeah.
And I feel like the few times that I've left, I've felt more than whole. You know, like I'm coming out of it with something more than what I had going in.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that your space is able to do that and to help people feel that vulnerability and openness. So thank you very much.
Thank you, James.
So, as we know, the world is kind of on fire right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. And one thing that I've heard you say on a few occasions is that this isn't the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
There's so many people and groups of people that have gone through such crises and way worse.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself dealing with that? And I remember before you were mentioning, before we started recording, you said, is it disrespectful to feel like, you know, to not live my life in spite of all this? I know that might be like a loaded question, but
no, we do loaded questions here. Okay. Thank you for that question. I think I first want to start by saying that there's this poet, Tiana Clark, and in her poetry collection, Scorched Earth, she references someone else who like said this. I just don't remember their name, sadly. But she says that like Black people are post-apocalyptic, that after experiencing the Middle Passage and like this horrific isn't even the right word to like hold what happened to people of like the African diaspora, you know, like there are a lot of people who are like, this is the worst thing, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's awful. Like I don't want to like downplay that, but I do want to say that the world has always been on fire. And I've been reading a lot more about like Maroons, specifically in the islands. And, you know, someone was like, don't say that like this is the worst it's ever been, because there are people who were like living their lives and colonizers came to their shores, and like the ground zero of it, the start of it, we're seeing what's like happening as a result of it. But when it first began, like the world was on fire for them, literally, you know? And it's disrespectful to them to be like, this is the first time. Like they saw the start of it. They saw the beginning of it. And we are the remnants, the survivors of it. And so I think right now it's painful to watch, to know that it's happening. You know, I just, yeah, what a loaded question. It is now. I'm feeling it in my stomach. I'm like, it is loaded, huh? But I root myself in folks like this incredible librarian, Bekezela Mguni, I believe is her name. And she said, like, if what like Fannie Lou Hamer like fought for was for me to live a more pleasurable, beautiful, delicious life, then by doing that, I will have like done justice by her, and I will have served her. Because I think often we forget what we're fighting for, and it's just like we get addicted to the fight because there's always, the fire never goes out, you know? So if we know that the fire never goes out, like how does that change the way that we show up? I believe that my ancestors live in me, and, you know, people talk about breaking generational curses and, you know, but we can only do that because we're connected to them and because they live in our bodies. So if I can take a moment to breathe deeper while also holding the grief of what's happening in the world, I'm offering that spaciousness to them. If I can like sit down somewhere outside, lean up against a tree and like drink water, read a book, something, it's something that my ancestors were not allowed to do, you know? It's not a solution at all, but I do think, yeah, people fought and died so that we could live well. And so how do we hold like honoring their sacrifices, honoring the martyrs? How do we hold that and also hold the grief of the world? And how were they doing that? Because that's what they were doing the whole time, you know? I think about the genocide in Gaza. I think about the genocide in Congo, like, and then I think about, you know, like Vietnam, like, and the ways it is brushed under the rug, but like people were out on the streets, you know, this is not the first time we've been at war. It's not the last time, unfortunately. And so it's like, I think my question is always just like both and, like, how do I honor them and make sure that like I'm living even just an ounce of what they fought for, while simultaneously like doing what I can to show up for the people who are under the foot of this imperialist project. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we're in a sense we're kind of living what they dreamed of, you know, in a way. And just living our whole lives as best we can. It's the greatest form of resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for asking.
So going back to Not a No Place.
Yeah.
What are some core pillars of Not a No Place's mission? And if somebody wanted to maybe recreate it somewhere, let's say, I don't know, in California or around the world, what are some things that they would need to keep in mind to recreate that experience or kind of keep that spirit intact?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because I've been sitting with that a lot. Like, what are our values? What do we care about? And one of them that I'll start with, because it's for me to like transition a little, but Toni Morrison says that like beauty is a necessity. And it felt ridiculous for me to like declare it to myself, but I was like, one of the pillars is like beauty is a necessity. Like art is a necessity. We are beautiful beings. The earth is a beautiful place. Art and like communing with each other to hear each other's words, like that's something that human beings need. So like, yes, we hold the things, and also we offer ourselves moments to be with the beauty of just like being, you know, like I'm alive right now. And so are you. And like, ain't it a gift that like I can take a deep breath in and then exhale out, and I know the next breath will come in. Like, I don't have to be like, I'm not really sure if I'm like, something is choosing you to be here and to be alive. Even when you try to hold your breath, it's like, no. And I think that's beautiful. So beauty is definitely one of them. With that being said, breath and presence, essential. Because I feel like they all lead into each other, but breath, presence, and vulnerability. And not the vulnerability of like, I can talk about all my traumas and like, that's vulnerable. No, it's like, I'm here on this stage or this wherever, the floor, and I'm crying. And I've never cried in front of people before. I didn't expect myself to cry, but I can trust that like, if I breathe and if I allow myself to be here and be like seen, I feel like they're all unraveling, but and seen, like, you know, I feel like that's really powerful. That's essential. And bearing witness to yourself, just noticing. I'm a Raja Yoga guide. And I study Raja Yoga. It's the 8-limb path of yoga. The movement practice, asana, is like one limb of the 8. It's like not essential. But like breath awareness is one of them. The niyamas, which talk about like, purity and like, are you surrendering to the higher power within yourself? Like those kind of questions. And the practice is a lot about noticing. It's not like judgment. It's just like, wow, I see that James is wearing green pants. James is wearing green pants. Like, and I have nothing else to say about it. Like, I notice my stomach is tight talking about the world. I notice my stomach is tight. And so this bearing witness is essential because I feel like it makes way for like self-acceptance and just like acceptance of, our community. Just like we're inviting people in as they are. So I'm like, yeah, bearing witness, breath and presence, beauty, vulnerability. There are like so many more, but like this is what's like coming to my head right now. Is like if someone wanted to recreate it, it would be that. It would be you have to know that you have to sit with yourself and you have to see yourself and know that when you walk out here, people are watching you and witnessing you, and that you are also bearing witness to parts of them that maybe they don't bring anywhere else. So you got to be like tender, just like you would carry like small little baby you, like also care for people in that same way. Ground people in the breath, ground people in the body, the poetry, the writing, our experiences, they live in the body. And if we want to alchemize and transmute, you have to be willing to get people in their body in a world that wants us to be like apathetic and disconnected and numbed out. You're inviting people to feel, which means you also have to create the space where they feel not like safe enough, like not a safe space. That's another day. But a space where like if they are triggered, they trust that they'll be held in that space and that other people will support them through whatever grief is coming up. I'm
curious, what do you think of that phrase, safe space? Please elaborate.
Yeah. I used to believe in it. And then I realized that we're like all in conversations with each other's wounds. And so like safety doesn't really exist necessarily. Like the safe space, I should say, doesn't exist because the safety within yourself is really the thing that needs to be intact. And yeah, I think we're all going to be triggered in some ways. And so I think, you know what, actually, James, what it is that I think that I'm not sure that the people who say safe spaces, I'm not sure what they mean, maybe. Or if they think safety or even like a beautiful world, I think I fell into this means no one will be hurt and no one will cry and no one,
That's just unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. So the safe space, it's like, what are we really talking about? And I did this yoga nidra training, and in it, she was like, people are going to be triggered. And I was like, girl, like, it's not cool that you triggering people. But then she was like, no, like, it's important that you create a space where like people will inevitably be triggered. And then they feel like they can sift through that and sit with it and be in space with other people who will allow them to do that and hold them in it. So if that's what a safe space is, then I'm trying to work towards that. Of like, yeah, babes, you will be triggered. That wound that's been calloused over, like,
it'll reopen.
It's going to reopen. And like, it needs to be healed in a different way. And I hope we can do that here together. But like the absence of pain, the absence of hurt, not harm, because we don't do that. No. But hurt, pain, grief, that like has to be woven into these spaces that we're creating also. So the safe space.
Yeah.
We need to expand on the practice.
An alternative kind of phrase I've heard is brave space. Just, being able to be okay with making mistakes in community and being vulnerable, but not expecting other people to kind of like walk on eggshells to protect your feelings, because that's not doing anybody any favors. Yeah. I want to talk about your Raja Yoga practice. How did you come to start that, and what was it like kind of beginning that when it was new to you?
Okay, I'll be so honest. I went to Kathmandu, Nepal in like 2019.
The country Nepal?
Yeah. Yeah, Nepal. I went to Kathmandu because I had a writing teacher, Muna. If you watch this, I love you. Named Muna Gurung, and I mean, like, yeah, she ushered me. But I went to Nepal and I was walking around. I was like thicker and I had like short hair, and I was also black in Nepal. And so she was telling me, she was like, the people can't really conceptualize you because like you're like thicker, but also your hair is short, but you're not old. Like you're a young person. Like they're just like, what's happening here? So I would walk into the markets, and honestly, truth be told, they were like, you're fat, like you should do yoga. And at the time, like, just like from the way I was brought up, like I've been very weight conscious for most of my life. And so I was like, bet, all right, cool. This is the thing I need to do. I'm going to practice yoga, whatever. Cause I didn't really know what it was. So I was doing a lot of like online practices, and I was pushing my body. I hurt myself. And then my teacher from high school, Imani, who does a lot of social justice work and knows what I'm about, especially that internal work, she was like, I think you would like this training with this person. Shout out to Felicia Savage Friedman. And it's Yoga Roots on Location, and it's anti-racist Raja Yoga teacher training. I'm like, what could this be about? Like, I don't know what we're about to do, but like I can do the poses. And yeah, most of the training wasn't movement. Like we went through each limb. It was virtual. It was 13 months, which is like different from other trainings. Sometimes people go on like immersions for like a month and they like learn everything, and now they have a cert and like they're going out in the world. Versus we met once a month for a weekend, and that way we could like change our lifestyles. Like we needed time to like, I don't know what the word is. Like it's like process, but it's like another word I was thinking of. And so we'd come in, we do a feelings check-in first thing. How you feeling? They'd put the forest of feelings is what they call it now. And everyone in the chat would be like, you know, in this moment I'm arriving, you know, and I'm feeling this. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. I feel joyous, whatever. We check in with each other, and then we get into the limbs. So some of my favorite limbs are like the yamas and the niyamas. And yamas are kind of like how you connect with other people. Niyamas are how you kind of connect with yourself. And so the yamas, one of them is like non-stealing. And that means I'm not stealing your joy. Like I'm not hating on you while you're feeling joyful. I'm not dampening who you are as a person, because that's a kind of stealing that we don't talk about, you know? Like there was also, it's like non-violence, ahimsa, which a lot of people are familiar with. But just like what it means to talk about nonviolence, not just like, oh, physically hurt you, but like if you tell me something and I brush you off, you know, like that's not me honoring you. So the whole practice was about being in right relationship with yourself, with other people, with the land, like with the divine. And I mean, like when we got on the conversation of like the niyamas, one of them was like purity. Now we're talking about religious trauma, James. We getting into it. Like, what did you learn about God? Is like, what is this concept of God? What is this? And there's a lot of me like unpacking the ways that white supremacy is so insidious. Like, it's like we really are all fish in water, and we're like, yo, where's the water at? And it's like, it's actually like all around us. It's in our gills. It's like, it's been here for a long time. So really what we did was we'd cry. Oh my gosh, we'd cry. And then when people started crying, you know, Felicia would be like, this person's at risk because they're like heaving and sobbing, and everyone's like, and she's like, let's send energy to this person. Let's guide through like, you know, breathing awareness. Let's do a practice. Let's like what it means to like touch the wound and alchemize it in that moment. And then we'd like lay down. Like a lot of the practice was resting and being in universal meditation. And it's also a practice of moderation. So it's never like, how far can I go? Which you might encounter in a lot of other spaces. It's like, I could go that far, but I'm being asked to do that in every like area of my life. What does it mean for me to not do the most and know that I'm enough, even if I just turn this way instead of all the way that way? Like, it was just, yeah, it's really a practice that has reminded me of who I really am. Like that I'm light, that I'm love remembering itself. Like there were days in training years ago. I'm still trying to get it, James. Where I'd sit outside and I'd breathe. Like I just breathed for a while and everything felt delicious. Like it was like, wow, like I can just breathe and be enough. I felt that feeling in a capitalist society that's like, you are what you do, but I'm doing nothing. And I'm learning how to like do nothing and derive and know where my worth actually derives from, which is like in here. So it's a very like profound practice. It changed my life. I would say it saved my life. And during training, I would often say, this is the greatest gift I've ever given to myself. And I still feel this way. Yeah, the wounds, they came out. We had to write, do blog posts, connect with people, cry with other people. It's just like real intense and like healing work. Yeah.
Very like reflective process. And
yes. Reflective. Yeah. It's very, I would say there are like a bunch of different kinds of ways to practice yoga. Raja yoga is very philosophical, very, introspective. What's going on in here? Because we read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which I'm obsessed with. But he says like, so the mind, so the body, and so the mind, so the person. And so it's a lot of like, if I wear orange colored glasses today and I look around and I'm like, why is everything orange when I want it to be pink? I have the choice to put on pink glasses. I'm choosing to wear orange. And so, yeah, it's about you. Everything starts with you. Change starts with you. So
before, when you were talking about the kind of the pillars of Not of No Place and the essential kind of ingredients, you said breath, you said presence. Hold on, don't tell me. I'm quizzing myself. Breath, presence, vulnerability. And there was another one, but the one that really stuck with me was bearing witness. And I feel like that is so important, just not just to bear witness to other people, but to yourself as well. I know that one thing that I struggle with is terrible thoughts constantly, kind of like just barraging me all the time. And the way I deal with that is just to, like kind of what you said, observe it, just notice, oh, I had that thought. And just let it pass by. Is that something that you do as well? Or how do you deal with those kinds of terrible thoughts?
Gosh. That's such a bar. Yeah. I think that like I went into yoga expecting like weight loss or whatever. And instead I learned like, oh my goodness, none of those thoughts belong to me, which is like, yeah, the grief that comes. But yeah, my meditation practice is like taking the time to just like sit with it. Someone described it as kind of like a sky, or like you are the sky and the clouds of these thoughts are like passing by, but you are not, the sky is not the clouds per se. So when I'm having those thoughts on good days, when I'm like, okay, I'm not going to wallow and cry about it, like, which you can still do.
Very easy to fall back into.
It's hard. It's like really hard. But yeah, I'll sit, I'll meditate, and I'll be like, oh, snap, like that's not mine. And I'll focus on my breath. Like just like Thich Nhat Hanh, iconic Buddhist teacher, many things, has this practice, which you've heard me do, of like, where he says like, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And just like in and out. And he continues with like, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I bring ease to everything. And like focusing on the breath and like my life force energy while the thoughts are coming feels like the roots of like who I am. Yeah, so that I don't get lost and go off. It's like, well, the breath will bring me back. The breath will ground me. So yeah, that meditation is a huge part of my practice. And the thoughts, they're just unending. They're unending. Oh yeah. So I agree.
And you have actually given me a practice that I like to use now, where it's the breathe in 5, exhale 5, breathe in 4, just going down to 1. And it really has, I've been on my own kind of like breath journey.
Come on,
it's really so important, because you need to get that oxygen in your body. That's all you really need.
It's true. The breath goes to all the places. Like sometimes in our practice, it'd be like, if you're sitting somewhere and you notice like tension somewhere, or like you notice spaciousness, you might notice tension. And then if there is tension, like you send the breath there to see if it can like create some spaciousness, open things up. Like it's really powerful. It moves so many things that get stuck in our body. So good for you, James. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Next question.
Okay, wow.
What does rest mean to you?
Ooh. Oh my.
Is that also a loaded question, or?
It's like, it's loaded for the simple fact that there's this book. I don't know if you're like Rest is Resistance. Trisha Hersey.
Haven't read it. I've been recommended it recently.
Yeah. It's incredible. But I also have a lot of friends who are organizers and activists, and like we are firm on the like rest is not resistance is like, and I think sometimes I find myself in, kind of bouncing around because I know that rest is not the sole answer. I don't think there is a sole answer. But I've just been like reading a lot of pushback against it. So I'm like, sometimes I'm like, ooh, like where do I fit in this? But rest, honestly, for me is like, there's another limb called pratyahara, and it's sensory withdrawal. And unfortunately, it's like the closest thing to death, honestly, essentially. It's like you don't smell nothing, you don't do nothing, you're in darkness, that was probably the hardest practice for me. And I think that for me and what my rest looks like, and the rest that like I was ushered into looks like, it's a lot of that. It's like, okay, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to set up my mat. Oh, I'm just getting excited. Just thinking about it. Oh, set up my mat. I set up my blocks a certain way, get my bolsters, my cushions, my essential oils. Like maybe I play some music or maybe I don't. For a long time, that's what my practice looked like. And then I started yoga nidra. What a life changer. And yoga nidra is like Nidra is a goddess in like, I guess like, I would maybe Hinduism. I don't want to get the things wrong, but hey, this is a brave space. I'm just going to say it. Okay. Nidra's a goddess. And there's this story. I'm not going to say all the names because then I'll mess it up. But there's this story of, there's like a god who's sleeping because Nidra has taken her place inside of him. And there's like another god who's kind of like, yo, the demons are coming, wake up. Like, what do you want me to do? But she's like in him or like in them. And he's just like in deep, deep slumber, deep, deep sleep. And like isn't able to support in these ways. And the journey of yoga nidra for me has been so profound because I really feel like in our like dream space, and in the calming of our like, or like activating our parasympathetic nervous system, there's just like so much in our body that like wants to come up. So like rest also kind of is my grieving practice, I think. It's like where everything is like, okay, so you took all these things in today and now you're laying down. And so that thing that you like clenched so that you could avoid, I'm actually going to show you that right now. What are we going to do about that? So my rest practice has been my practice of grief, and also connecting to my ancestors because, as I said, I'm from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is the home of the Garinago people, who are these Afro-Indigenous people who can be found, in Nicaragua. They were like sent to like Roatan in Honduras. They're just like everywhere, Belize. And they're some of the only folks and the only group of folks who like hasn't been enslaved. They've like never been enslaved. They like fought for a while in St. Vincent. And all that to say, ancestral veneration is like the essential of their practice. And often when I like do research on it, a lot of things about like dreams come up. So often if I'm receiving things or knowledge or wisdom, it's in my dreams. Like someone is talking to me in my dreams, or I'm in like a rested space and I hear voices in my dream. But like, I'm like voices of my body. If you hear voices too, we honor you.
Who doesn't?
I'm like, we honor you. And so, yeah, rest has been how I grieve, but also how I receive wisdom, and knowledge from my ancestors, how I kind of connect past, future, and root myself in the now. And yeah, it's a very long-winded answer to say that's my practice of rest. It's beautiful.
Amazing. So one thing that we at the Backyard Media love, that we talk about all the time, is the power and the importance of community. And it sounds like it's had kind of a profound effect on your own life, just in the work that you do now, but also in your kind of journey of like self-discovery, doing the Raja yoga practice. How has community played an important role in your life is what I'm asking.
Wow. Yeah, it makes me think of James Baldwin saying, like, you know, if I love you, I have to like tell you or show you the things that you're not conscious of. And being in community with people has shown me like more of who I am in like every sense, you know. I feel like I've talked about the beautiful things about community, and also simultaneously I feel like I've learned a lot of like accountability and I mean, that's where it kind of happens, you know. But I think I've learned like responsibility for how I show up in the world through being in community with other people. Just like, I mean, just down to like friendships also, like being someone's friend, like what does that even really mean? It's taught me, like my best friend, Jules. Hey, if you just see this, Jules. I used to like cry alone. Like I just cried alone. I grew up just like having to like regulate myself, be with myself, by myself, expect no one to hold me in it, just hold myself, which is why my practice, people are like, you're very skilled in it. I'm like, thank you, because I've been doing it for myself for like 28 years. But now it's like I cry in front of other people, and I don't mean like, but it's like I boo-hoo sob in front of someone who looks at me and it goes, yeah, baby, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know, like I can like soften and like, cause I think that like we talk about community and I love it. And also I asked like, how vulnerable are you in community? How well does your community know you? Like it makes me think of like last week, like, or the week before, it's like, do you know the names of my siblings? You know, do you know, like, I always ask people when someone's like, yeah, my dad, I'm like, I do always go, what's his name? Or like, what's your mom's name? Or like, oh, my auntie, what's your aunt's name? Like, bring them in the space, you know? Do we do that in community too? I'm like, I love that we like get amped for each other, and we should. And simultaneously, it's like, you know, I am just like getting more rooted in what you've already said too. It's like, you know, the people around you, everyday people, the people, like, I think we often think are like, how can I show up for the world? But it's like, did you wash the dishes after you, like, this person asked you to because they really needed you to do that? You know, like, how are you like running from yourself, and how is that impacting other people? Can someone come to you and like give you feedback? Can you go to someone and like vulnerably share your heart and be like, this is like you showing up this way, and I'm noticing something in my being that's like tight, and I need you to show up that way. Like those ways. Are we doing that in community with other people? And the truth for me is like, for a while I was not. Like I'm learning that. I wasn't. And I've like lost some friends, some beautiful people because of that. Like I didn't know how to say like, hey, when you say that hurts my feelings. And that's so essential. Like if I'm, you know, if you're a steward of a space, or if you're going into other space with other people, someone says something or does something, like we need to be able to repair, or we need to first like do accountability, acknowledge what's happening, and then repair. And I think a lot of people are afraid to be in community because there is so much rupture. Like we're humans. And again, in conversation with each other's wounds, like, yeah. So I'm like, if you're nervous to be in community with other people, like, you know, I think let's start asking more questions about what parts of yourself are you afraid for your community to see. And I think that people receive me as a very like grounded, sweet, and like I am, y'all, I promise. But also my anger is like a real thing, and that's another side of me that I don't bring out often. but that's a part of me that like deserves to be in conversation with people, and that like people are also in conversation with, you know, these little hidden parts. So I'm learning that, like the shadow side of community. The like, ooh, I didn't like that. What do I do about that? You know? And I feel that's been really profound. I feel I'm learning a lot by being in community with other people, like beautiful things and also like tough, like rough things about myself. And I feel grateful and privileged to like have people that would be like, yeah, you wildin', like, you know, like can't do that over here. Like that hurt me.
So important.
You know? Yeah.
Just that honesty and vulnerability. It's I don't know what the word is, but it's important.
It's important. That's a good word.
That's a good one. I let into that one. So this is our Daniel question segment. Shout out to Daniel. Daniel is letting us use his space today to conduct this interview. So we love Daniel. Daniel, you're amazing. So first Daniel question. What are 3 things you love about your community?
Wow. 3 things I love about my community. One of them is that people are so tender. The people allow themselves to feel. And even if like previously they were a bit more like, there is a small moment of like, okay, I'm gonna let you get closer. Even if it's not that close, the willingness to be like, actually, I want this thing. And I know that usually I don't, like I kind of push it away. But today I'm gonna try to receive the thing that I actually want and not force it away. So I love that. That's like one thing. Art. Like I love being in community with artists, especially artists who are willing to like be vulnerable. Like all these conversations that you're kind of having with yourself, it just happens to like resonate with another person, but that you're like willing to share your heart with us in that way because you know that it might be something that someone needs to hear. And I also appreciate that I think my community like organizes against loneliness, which also I'm realizing that's also a pillar for Not a No Place. Is like, I don't want you to feel alone, babes, you know? And I feel like my community's like a community member recently lost their father. And I shared like all the information with everybody. I was like, show up and you can't, and you know, and they did. Like, it's not just like this far away thing we're doing, but like, if I could show up for you today in the hardest moment of your life or one of the hardest moments, I will, because I don't want you to feel like you're alone. So I really appreciate those 3 things. Tenderness, open hearts, and making sure people don't feel alone.
It's beautiful. Amazing.
Thank you.
Those are so important.
I think so too, right? Yeah.
Another pillar of Not a No Place to add. That's amazing.
Okay.
What is a performance that stuck with you at Not a No Place or just anywhere in general?
Ooh. Okay. This might be cheating, but it wasn't in person. So is that okay?
That's not cheating. That's fine.
Okay, but I was like, I mentioned this at the last Not a No Place, so you've heard it. Hope is discipline. Aja Monet performed one of my favorite poems, and honestly, devastating poems of hers, called "For the Kids," and it's a response to, like for the kids that live, and it's a response to Langston Hughes' poem, "For the Kids That Die." And I've seen her like perform it. I've like heard it a lot. And then I saw her perform it in Europe somewhere. And she has a live band. Which, that's the dream.
While she's doing poetry?
Yeah. Yeah. She has a whole album. And it's called When the Poems Do What They Do. You need to listen to it. It's incredible. It's incredible. There's like drums. It's like very like blues, jazz kind of feel. And yeah, she's on the stage. And she just starts like losing it. It was like, honestly, like my heart hurt for her. And also I was so grateful for like, she just started asking about like, how many kids, which you've heard me say, how many kids must die for us to live. And originally she was talking about people, I think in Florida, and like maybe Miami, because I know that she was there. But then now it just so happens, which is like awful, but like, you know, that's what's so beautiful about poems, is that they travel. And like it's devastating that a lot of the things that poets have written about, you know, are still happening. And now it applies to like the children in Gaza, it applies to the children in Iran, like in Congo and Sudan, like kids everywhere. And she just starts like howling on the stage, like howling, how many, like just like over and over. And then she just screams like, how many kids must die? Like how many? And she's like, you know, I'm not functioning. How are y'all functioning? This is not functioning. And this is the only place that I can like talk about it. I can't talk about it anywhere else. And she just like, I feel like she just like unmasks. Like it's not just like obviously the poems are from her heart, but it was like, I'm not just going to perform these things and not connect it to what's happening right now. And I'm not going to pretend like birthing these poems and like talking about these devastating things doesn't hurt. Like the artist, it's like we go around, we share the things that we wrote, but it ached to think about it, to meditate on it, and to bring it out. And so that performance and like the whole project that she put out changed how I saw poetry, because I didn't know that we was out here doing poetry with a live band in the back. I didn't know we was doing that. I didn't know that like they were improvising while you were I didn't know we could do that.
So are we gonna can we expect a Camille Asia version of that? Or
I sure hope so. I'm like, musicians, let me know. Like I was actually talking to a friend last night, my friend Jalen, and I was like, yo, how do I hit people? Like how does one hit up a musician and be like, you trying to collab, like, you know? So wait on it.
Daniel question number 3: what are you reading at the moment?
Ooh, I forgot about that. Okay, recently what I read was, because I'm trying to read like I'm just trying to read as much poetry as I can. I'll tell you what I just finished and then what I'm starting. Recently, I read I Can't Talk About the Trees Without the Blood by Tiana Clark. My God. Whoa. So that's there. That's a poetry collection. And I just started Soulmate as a Verb. And that's by a friend of mine who goes like the pen name like Kelsey L. Smoot. But Kels just put that out. Which is awesome because we used to like write together, so it's so cool to see people outside doing their thing. And I'm also reading this book called Good Morning to Destroyer of Men's Souls. It's about addiction and codependency, by Nina. I don't remember Nina's last name, I'm sorry, but it's like the title is, you can't forget the title. So
one more time, the title.
Good Morning, Destroyer of Men's Souls.
That is intense.
That's intense. I know, but I can't put it down for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. So that's what I'm reading.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And Daniel has a recommendation for you too.
Yes. And I don't remember what it's called.
I'm going to tell him.
Yeah. I'm like, I think Daniel knows. I don't know.
Come on. Unbelievable.
I'm like, yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
Last Daniel question.
Yeah.
Daniel question number 5. 2 things that you enjoy doing that aren't art.
Wow. Okay. I enjoy being in my kitchen, like cooking a meal for someone that I love while the sun is going down, and I'm playing there's this YouTuber named like Kolu, and he has like trumpet meditations. So it'll just be him like playing these beautiful trumpet meditations while the sun is going down, and I'm cooking something yummy in the kitchen, and I'm like, And then something else would be, I love going on walks. I love a walk. Like bonus if it's like we're near a body of water, and can like pause to sit under a tree. Yeah. Those are my like 2 things that I'm loving right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you love cooking?
I do love cooking.
I feel like cooking a meal for someone and just food in general is like top 3 love languages. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, that's how I feel.
I feel sad because I can't cook. I can't cook. I can burn water. I try to.
Okay.
With my parents and my grandmother. But they always kick me out of the kitchen.
Okay, yeah.
I try to do something and I'm just doing something wrong constantly. So I haven't had that experience, but I want to get better. Would you say that food is one of your love languages?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, I told my mom recently, I was like, I knew there were moments where my mom was like, she's a Virgo. She's very like tangible. Like I'm a Pisces. I'm very like, let's talk about your feelings. That's how I love you, But she's like, you need a blanket. I saw that you were cold. So she would like cut up apples like randomly and just like lay them on my lap. She would just like cut up an apple, come to me, bring me some fruit. Aww. And we would just like sit and eat fruit. And like, she always cooks, I love lentil soup or like split pea soup with like smoked turkey neck and stuff like that. And so she would make those things for me. So I'm like, I love good food and I love cooking with people. And I will say, like, I've only started cooking because I, at some point, lived alone, and I realized if I didn't cook, no one was gonna cook. So I had to. But I'm like, you're still with the pros, so like, it's hard. Like when I'm at home, I'm like, my dad is like, come try. I'm like, I'm gonna let you do that. You got the curry. I'm not gonna. This is an art form. I'm not touching it. So okay, respect. But like at some point, I think you got it.
I got it.
I got it. Yeah, you don't burn no water. You good.
And what is a meal that is super nostalgic for you? That is just embodies your childhood.
That's such a good question. Because they be cooking at my house. They be cooking. I'll say like, okay, that embodies my childhood is like, but it was the question. I'm gonna actually bow, yeah. My grandma, who like she had a stroke many years ago, so she can't, which is devastating to all of us, but she always made like the best oxtail. Like I know everybody says that, but no, I really mean it. Like I really like she didn't even eat meat. So she couldn't even taste it. That's how you know. Crazy. She couldn't even taste it. It was like gas, like oxtail, rice and peas, some like cut up banana or plantain. I didn't really eat it, but like little macaroni pie on the side. Maybe you throw a little, at this point, this is my like Christmas plate, but like, a little curry goat on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my stuff. That's my stuff.
I think this is a funny question, but like, I love to ask this, but like, what was like a struggle meal or like a struggle snack that you had?
I love that question. Wait, I love that question.
For me, it was toasted hot dog buns and Cheese Whiz. That's it.
Wait, is Cheese Whiz the thing that you? Yeah. Oh my gosh, was that like? Would you eat that now?
No.
Okay, Bob.
No,
okay.
I mean, if I was in the struggle, yeah.
Right, but you're not in the struggle no more.
No, I'm still in the struggle.
Okay.
But it's not as bad.
But it's not the same struggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, dang. Okay. I don't know how much of a struggle meal this is then, but we'd like come, my dad and I would come home and we get like sardines out the cabinet. We like mix it with some mayonnaise and like, cayenne, salt, pepper, and eat them with crackers. And then that was it. Like that was, but it's like, I ate that last week, like we're not in the struggle, but like, or I guess we are in the struggle, but a different struggle. But yeah, that's still my stuff. Little garlic pepper. Yeah.
That's also nostalgic for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it all the time. Cause I have 3 younger brothers. And like, yeah, if nobody cooked yet, my dad would just like start mixing the thing up and be like, all right, come get some of this. Everybody's like trying to get in the little canister with all the crackers and we break in all the things. Like it just brings a lot of joy to all of us still. Yeah.
Speaking of joy, and probably our last question, what is something that never fails to make you smile?
Ooh. I would say it's like a really nice day, spring or sunny day. The windows are down. There's really good music playing, and we're going on a long drive. And I'm like singing at the top of my lungs, like any sort of like nostalgic song, like singing at the top of my lungs with someone that I love, and we driving around just like wherever. I'm like always gonna laugh. I'm always gonna smile. Bonus, if there's a sunroof, it's over. Like, you know, but that puts a smile on my face immediately.
Just the sunniness of the day and
the wind, like
there's a reason I'm always depressed during the winter months, but it's terrible. It's terrible.
Wait,
just going
what's
through the mud
that puts a smile on like your face? Like,
oh
what's
my God. Seeing people just get super excited about the things that they love. You know, it's just to know that this is something that this person has loved throughout their whole life, or something that brings them joy, that something that brings them purpose. Just knowing that somebody has that, because not all of us do. Not all of us really feel like we have that purpose, and I think that's a tragedy. That so many of us are moving through this life not knowing what brings them joy, what brings them that happiness, that true like purpose. But when I come across somebody that really is really in touch with themselves and can really tell me like that those things that do bring them joy, it just, that positivity, I just absorb it, and it's amazing.
You're so wholesome. I'm like, that's the most wholesome answer. Oh, wow. You love us. You love humans.
I do.
I can tell.
I have a strong love for people, and I imagine you do too.
I do too. Yeah, and that's why I'm like, oh, that makes me giddy, because that's how I feel too. It's good to see people be themselves and be happy with themselves and what they're doing, and how they add to the world. So
thank you. And thank you for everything that you add to the world.
Thank you.
You're an amazing person, and I think
are you, James.
if you have any last words to share with our people at home that might be watching this.
Well, my question for you is, when do you think this will come out?
Hopefully within the next month.
Whoa. Okay. Not a No Place is monthly. If you are a QT by POC, or someone who identifies as QT by POC, like, pull up, come through. If you are someone who doesn't identify as any of those things, we do welcome co-conspirators to come into the space. So pull up, you know. Only QT by POC on the mic though. And yeah, I hope that you can be a friend to yourself today. And Aja Monet says, like, love your voice more than your fear. And I hope that today you can find a way to love a little bit more of your voice, more than the fear that you hear.
Wow, that's amazing.
She's phenomenal.
I've been trying to deal with that fear recently myself, but that, you know, this is the end of the interview. We won't get into that.
Right, we're not gonna get into that right now.
We'll table that.
I know we're gonna talk about it.
We'll talk.
Okay.
But thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Camille.
Thank you, James. This is an honor. I'm so thankful to be here.
And I'm thankful for you and everything that you do. So keep doing what you're doing. You guys keep doing what you're doing, as long as it's positive and fruitful. You guys take care. This has been the Backyard Media. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Boom.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay, Backyard Media.